A lot of you are guessing your calories and macros and then at the same time wonder why nothing about your physique is changing. But by the end of this video, you are going to know exactly how to set yours. Number one is going to be calories. For this, it's really simple. You're going to take your body weight and then you're going to multiply that by 14 to 16 in order to get your maintenance. How the fuck do you spell maintenance? There. I think that's right. If you work a sedentary job, you're not moving around much, like an office job or something, and at the same time you're not going to the gym just yet, then you're going to want to multiply your body weight by 14. Now, let's say you do work a sedentary job, but you go to the gym. Then what I would do is multiply that by actually 15. Or let's say if you work construction, so you have an active job, but you're not going to the gym. So after work, you're sedentary. I would also multiply by 15. Now, I would multiply by 16 when you have an active job and then you get off of work, or maybe this is before work, you go to the gym as well. And in that case, I would multiply your body weight by 16. For easy numbers, I'm gonna go with 200, and then I'm just gonna pick the middle ground here, 15, and that comes out to 3,000. So if you're about 200 pounds and you determine that the number you need to multiply your body weight by is 15, your maintenance is about 3,000 calories. Now, that's not the end all be all. I'm not saying that you're going to eat 3,000 calories and stay there no matter what. I'm going to go further into this as to what you should do with this number here in a second. If your goal is fat loss, so I'm going to write down fat loss, give you guys a visual, and then once I'm done with this, you can go ahead and take a screenshot of it. So fat loss, I'm going to want to subtract 3 to 500. So I'm going to put minus 300 to minus 500 calories from that. And honestly, I would say that most people are going to be here, fat loss. A lot of people could get much leaner. And so what I would do is take your maintenance and then subtract 3 to 500 from that and then eat that many calories. If you're already really lean and you need to put on muscle, then this is what you're going to do. So I'm writing muscle gain now. What you're going to want to do is actually increase by 2 to 300. So I feel like a lot of people kind of overthink the number that they need to be at. Just find a starting point and adjust from there. And I'm going to show you how to adjust based off of your weight, the trend that you're finding on the scale. I'm going to show you how to do all that here in a second. But it's really simple. Just create a starting point and then go from there. Moving on to the first macro, that is going to be protein. And arguably the most important one. Now the rule here, all you have to do is take about 0.8 to 1 and then multiply it by your body weight. And if we're going to use the same example here, let's say the body weight is 200, that's going to be 200 pounds. And when you do that math here, it's going to come out to 160 to 200 grams of protein. And by the way, this is daily intake, so this is what you need to be eating every single day. The reason you want to be in this range is because that's how you build and maintain your muscle as well as stay full. A lot of people, when they do a cut, they're not eating enough protein. So what ends up happening is they end up getting really hungry, and that's how people screw up their diet. They end up, doing late night snacking or just overeating. It's because you're not eating enough protein. To keep things simple, we're gonna go with 200 grams of protein. All right, that's what I'm gonna use for this example. Now what you do is multiply that number by 4 because 1 gram of protein has 4 calories in it. So 200 times 4, 800. And then I'm just going to write CALS for calories, all right? So we have to remember that number. Step 3 is figuring out your fats, which is going to be good for your hormones and just your overall health. If you're low on fat, you're going to feel it. To determine how many grams of fat you need, all you're going to do is take your body weight. So for this example, we're still using 200. So I'm going to do 200, and then you multiply that by 0.3. So what is that? That's 60 grams of fat. Now for fat, 1 gram of fat has 9 calories. So what you need to do is multiply, we'll do 60 times 9. That comes out to 540 calories. And this is another number that we're going to want to remember. Now step 4 is going to be carbs. Getting kind of low on this whiteboard here. I kind of wish it was a little taller, or maybe that I was a little shorter. I don't know. But carbs, either way. So what you're going to do for this is you're going to take these two numbers, so the 540, remember, and fucking 800. So what you do is you fucking add these together. So we're gonna do 800 plus 540 quick. So that equals 1,340 calories coming from those two macros. Now let's come back here and say that your maintenance was this number that we have here, 300, and you want to do an aggressive cut. You really want to maximize your fat loss. So 3,000 minus 500, that's going to come out to 2,500. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this number and bring it over here. And basically what we're going to do is 2,500 minus 1,340. So 2,500 minus 1,340 comes out to 1,160 calories. All right, now what we do is we take that number and we divide it by 4. 1,160 divided by 4 comes out to 290 grams of carbs. So at the end of all this, we have determined that we are going to consume 2,500 calories a day, as well as 200 grams of protein and 60 grams of fat, and then 290 grams of carbs. I'm going to write that right here just so it's easier to look at, and then go ahead and take a screenshot of it. Here's the answer. If you got lucky and like, let's say you're 200 pounds and you want to do an aggressive cut, I pretty much just did the calories and macros for you. But either way, even if you're a different weight, then just simply use this. You could probably just do it on your phone or write it down. It's really simple math, and then you'll be able to figure out your calories and macros. Now I'm going to show you how to actually make adjustments going forward, because again, this is just a starting point. Now this is how to adjust, and still using that 2,500 calorie example. So what you're going to do for 2 weeks is you're going to eat the same daily calories, 2,500, every single day. And then you also need to weigh yourself every single day. I think people fuck up and they think that they only need to weigh themselves once a week. The reason you don't want to do that is because your weight fluctuates a lot day to day. So what you want to do is weigh yourself every day. So that's 7 days, right? Add up that number, then divide it by 7. Now you take your average weight. So what you're going to do is take your average weight for the first week, right? Let's say your average weight was 200 pounds, right? Was the example. So let's say your average weight was 200 for week 1. Now you do the same thing again for the second week. You're eating the same amount of calories every single day, 2,500, and you're weighing yourself every day. And then you take that number, divide it by 7, and now on that second week, your average was, let's say it was 200 again. So let's say for fucking week 1 and week 2. That just means that you didn't gain or lose any weight, obviously. So what you need to do, if your goal is fat loss, what you do is subtract more calories. And we found that the maintenance was 3,000, right? And what we did was subtract 500 in order to get this number. So that's why it's just a starting point. And after 2 weeks, you make an adjustment. So let's say if you stayed the same, like then that was actually 2,500 was actually your maintenance. So maybe you multiplied your body weight by 16 because you actually overestimated how active you actually are. So that's why it's very important to be honest about your activity level. So maybe you should have actually multiplied, instead of by, 15 or 16, maybe do 14 instead. But either way, what you're going to want to do after this, if you're still the same weight, is subtract by 200. Now, if you are losing weight, let's say like you average, so fucking week 2, you weighed 195.5 was your average. That's obviously just a half-pound difference. That's not as aggressive as that's probably not as aggressive as you want it. So what you need to do in that case would be is I would just subtract 100. But in this case, if you're staying the same weight, you need to do a little more aggressive, subtract 200 instead. What that means is that now instead of 2,500, I'm going to be doing fucking 2,300. And then what you do after that is repeat the fucking process here. All right. So now you're going to be eating 2,300 calories every single fucking day, and then just do it again. Just weigh yourself daily. Now let's say on that first week you averaged 199. And then, so I'm going to write down week 1. And then on that second week, your average was 198. Congratulations. You're now losing a pound a week if you are consistent with doing this process. So I'm going to write down 198 on week 2. What does that equal? That equals a 1 pound difference. So minus 1 pound, which is going to be a very healthy rate to lose body fat. All right. People only focus on hitting this calorie target, but it's going to be very important, especially for your protein, because what people do is like they may be in a deficit and you may be losing weight, and that's awesome. Congratulations. But if you're not eating enough protein, then your body is forced to break down your muscle in order to have energy. So you need to be eating enough protein. And if you're not, you may be losing a pound a week, but some of that is going to be muscle. It's not going to be enough fat. So in order to counteract that, you need to make sure that your fucking macros are also aligned, right? Set it, follow it, and adjust it. That is exactly how you get results. No more of this guessing shit. What you need to do is follow a system, and then most importantly, stick with it long enough for it to actually work. A lot of people, like a lot of you, first of all, a lot of you watching this probably aren't even gonna fucking do this. You're just gonna be like, oh yeah, that's some really good information, and then maybe you do the math, but then you're not even gonna apply it. But for those of you that do apply it, fucking stick with it. Okay, doing it once for like 2 weeks, that's not gonna fucking cut it. Okay, you need to constantly fucking be doing this. If you want awesome results that most people don't have, then you have to do awesome things that most people don't do. I believe in you. And if you have any questions, just drop it in the comment section, or I have a link to my Instagram there. I respond a little quicker on Instagram. Just send me a DM and just ask me about this. I'm not gonna like try to charge you for information. I'm literally giving it away for free. The reason I give it away for free is because I know most people aren't even gonna do it. But if you are actually gonna do it and you have further questions, like for your specific numbers and just stuff like that, then just hit me up and I got you. Either way, if you watched this entire video, I appreciate you being here, and I'll catch you in the next one.